very good morning, and it's so good to address you today in support of the Czech presidency of the European Union. The European Green Deal is about transforming how we live, work and play, focusing on efforts to reduce the impact we're having on the planet. Now, to achieve the changes we need, every part of our economy and our society will need to be involved and play their full part across all member states, including the Czech Republic. This is a big challenge, but we should also see the European Green Deal as a big opportunity. Our efforts to achieve climate neutrality by 2050 require massive investment, and in turn, that investment will generate economic growth. We can and we must reduce emissions and support economic growth at the same time, and that's what the European Green Deal is all about. Some of the investment will come from the public purse. Public money like the EU's Recovery and Resilience Facility, which is supporting member state economies after COVID. A significant part of the investments to boost the economy in the Czech Republic is targeted at cutting carbon emissions. But as we all know, public funding will not be enough. The investment needs to meet our climate and environmental objectives are massive. So we need the private sector to play its full part in transition. Today, I want to address you on three topics. Number one, why this work is so important, particularly in the current context. Two, the sustainable finance toolbox that we have already developed. And three, some of the challenges, but also opportunities that the transition towards the Green Deal offers. So why is sustainable finance important? The ambition of the European Green Deal is high, but it reflects the seriousness of the climate crisis we're facing. On top of that, we're experiencing an energy crisis because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Putin's weaponizing of fossil fuels. And that is placing severe costs, especially on households, small businesses and industry. Perhaps there are some trade-offs, but overall the current context suggests that we need to accelerate our transition efforts rather than putting them on hold. So we need more renewable energy, to use the energy we have more efficiently, and to diversify our sources of supply. The European Union's REPowerEU plan unites all of these goals. It is all about ending the EU's dependency on energy from Russia and at the same time increasing the pace of climate action with a massive expansion of renewable energy and energy efficiency measures. And the EU's work on sustainable finance complements these objectives by facilitating private investment in the green transition. I really want to stress that our sustainable finance agenda is not about rewarding what is already green today and indeed penalising those that are not there yet. Rather, we have designed our policies to provide much-needed tools to support the transition, especially those that face the biggest challenges to transition. Those who have the greatest potential to improve their environmental performance benefit most from the transition agenda. So let me talk now about our toolbox on sustainable finance. This agenda is really relevant in the Central and Eastern European regions. It's about providing a useful toolbox for businesses and the financial sector. It's not about a regulatory burden. And there are three main tools in this toolbox. Number one, we have the EU taxonomy. And this taxonomy is a signpost for investors on sustainable investments, and it is the cornerstone of all our work on sustainable finance. You know we have ambitious targets agreed by all EU governments on climate, so we need to translate those into a guide for the markets. And that is essentially what the taxonomy is all about. It's a guide that sets out criteria for sustainable investments, including in the most urgent areas. And that includes renewable energy production, buildings and construction, energy efficiency and research into clean technologies. We're working to complement this work with an environmental taxonomy that will set out criteria for investments that help restore biodiversity and tackle pollution. The second element we have is the Sustainable Finance Disclosure Regulation. Now, that is about making sure that financial products that claim to be sustainable actually are. And this will help make sure that the information about sustainability in the financial system is reliable. So in order for this to work, the financial world needs information from businesses on the sustainability of their operations. so that it can make the right investment and lending decisions. And that's why our third key element matters: the recently agreed Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. This directive will strengthen the rules about the environmental and social information that companies have to report. Investment risks arising from climate change and other sustainability issues are real and urgent, so investors need information to assess those risks. Citizens and civil society are looking for information as well. They want to know if companies are matching their good words on sustainability with good deeds. The Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive will give companies clear and consistent guidance on the information they need to provide, whether that's in the Czech Republic or any other EU country. Now, the very core of the directive will be new European sustainability reporting standards. Today, there are many different standards and expectations, and that's confusing, and it's costly for the companies that have to report. So these new harmonised European standards will provide a cost-effective solution for the companies that are obliged to report. It will be clear what they need to report on and in how much detail. And that will help the outside world understand companies' challenges, efforts and progress. We need to take sustainability as seriously as financial performance, and we're helping put the measures in place to do just that. Now, of course, we recognise that there are changes, and change is not easy. We're closely monitoring the entry into application of our legislation, and we're paying particular attention to coherent implementation. We know that significant changes in existing practices are required, and we're well aware of the challenges for businesses and industry in the Czech Republic, and indeed across the whole of the European Union. And so we're working to ensure that future guidance is clear and straightforward, based on well-aligned concepts. And we're putting measures in place so that sustainable finance can really work for everyone: citizens, SMEs and large businesses. One example, we're assessing how best to encourage green retail lending, in particular to SMEs, startups and households. With the support of the European Banking Authority, we're looking at what needs to be done to promote the growth of green loans and green mortgages. Retail investors can make clear their sustainable investment preferences, which need to be taken on board by financial advisors and then the investment chain. And in the Commission, we're supporting that further by boosting the level of sustainability expertise of financial advisors. Now, last but not least, the Commission continues to help Member States in their efforts to support SMEs to voluntarily report on sustainability risks and impacts. So to that end, the European Financial Reporting Advisory Group, EFRAG, is preparing a simplified sustainability reporting standard that our SMEs will be able to use on a voluntary basis. And that's in line with the proposed Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And so in closing, I would ask companies and the financial sector in the Czech Republic to see the opportunity that this transition to sustainability presents. It's an opportunity to be a frontrunner and to get recognition for leading the way. It's an opportunity to provide new clean technologies and build new markets. It's an opportunity not only to support our ambitious climate goals, but also to support sustainable economic growth. I look forward to working with the business community and with the Czech presidency to achieve our ambitions, which are shared. Let's keep up the good work. Thank you.